Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, what's up? My name is Wangari Mwangi. I'm a first year at Harvard University and I make college related content. So welcome. Feel free to subscribe and join us on this little corner of the internet. So today I'm talking about subject tests, how I studied for them, and a few tips that I have for anyone who's taking subject tests in literally like 2 weeks. So yeah, let's get right into the video. So like the first question is obviously, what is subject tests? I'll call them SAT 2 because that's what I prefer to call them. And I'm reading, so I need to wear my glasses. So subject tests from like the reliable source, that is Wikipedia, are subject specific multiple choice examinations administered by College Board. College Board is the exam organization that you pay to do the SAT and SAT 2. They usually show us students' strength or interest in a particular subject, and they're designed to measure your knowledge in that particular subject. So for example, you can take a test in like math or like English or chemistry or biology, like that. It's only in that specific subject, and the length of the tests are all 1 hour. Like it takes 1 hour to do a specific test, and each test has between 95 and 115 questions. The questions are multiple choice, so it's easy to get through them quickly, and the tests are scored on a scale of 200 to 800. So the highest you can get is 800 out of 800, and the lowest you can get is 200 out of 800. I don't know how they do that, but like, yeah. Then the topics or the subjects that you can take tests in, there are many. So you can take a math test. There's either math level 1 or math level 2. You can take a science, like there's biological, I think ecology or molecular, something like that. There's chemistry, there's physics. Then in English, there's literature. In history, you either take US history or world history. Then languages, they have so many languages: Spanish, French, Chinese, Italian, German, Japanese, Korean, Hebrew, Latin. And some of these languages have the one where you listen. I think it's called orals, something like that. The one where you listen. So those are the subjects that you can take in SAT 2. Then when are the test dates? For 2020, I know the test dates are November 7th and December 5th. Registration is ongoing for both. So if you want to take a subject test either in November 7th or December 5th, you need to register. And then usually, aside from 2020, the international test dates are in May, the first weekend of May, June, October, November, or December. So there are 5 international SAT 2 test dates. When you're registering, please be careful to pick subject test, not SAT, because like the payments are different and they won't allow you to switch, or they will allow you to switch with an extra cost. Then a few things to note about SAT 2. You can take maximum 3 tests on a single test date. So if you want to do like SAT 2 on November, you can take 3 subjects. You can take math, chemistry, physics. Then if you want to take more, you have to register for another test date. They only allow you to take 3 tests in 1 day. Then you can't take the SAT and subject test on the same day. If you want to take subject tests, you have to register on a different date. Like for example, I did SAT October and then I did subject tests in November. So you can't take both of them at the same time. And yeah, that's like the general information about subject tests. Part 2 of this is, not part 2, section 2 is how to pick which subject to take. So honestly, as an international student with a totally different curriculum from the American one, I found that I was very limited in my choices. Like I couldn't take history. I couldn't take like US history or world history because the history I learned is not that one. And honestly, if you've not taken a subject in high school, don't take its subject test, because you won't be able to. You need to learn like 4 years worth of information in time to take a subject test. So unless you have like 1 year to read, I wouldn't recommend. Like I didn't do bio in high school, so there's no way I could have taken a biology subject test, you see, because there's too much information I don't know, and unless I have like a year, I wouldn't be able to do well on the test. So I found that I could only do either the sciences, maths, or a language. So math, I decided to do mathematics level 2 because honestly, why not? I was like, why take level 1 when I can take a harder one and prove that I'm smart enough to go to these schools, you know? And then the sciences, bio, chem, and physics, honestly, like gravity is gravity whichever curriculum you go to. So the sciences were good, and languages, you know, a language is a language. Whether I learned German in Kenya or in US, German is German. So yeah, I didn't try literature because do I want to fail? Literature is not my thing. So some people do take literature, and like, I guess if it's your thing, do it. And so I get this question sometimes: which subject test should I take? And I think it's relative to the schools you're applying to and the courses you're applying to. So what I mean by this is, like, if you're doing pre-med, if you're planning to go into the track of medicine, you should probably take bio and chem, because those are the ones related to it. You can take like Japanese, it's fine, but like bio would be more relevant to medicine. I really thought children were going back to school. Anyway, yeah, if you're going for an English or creative writing major, taking an English subject test would probably be helpful. If you're going into engineering, physics and math would be the best. If you're going to business, math would be the best. So it's very relative, and you don't have to take subject tests, especially for 2020. They have removed the subject test requirement, because I know when I was applying, like 3 schools I was applying to had subject test requirements. But if you do have the opportunity to take it, it is an advantage that you should take advantage of. But yeah, so that's how generally I picked my subject test. I was like, okay, I'm doing engineering, so physics and math makes sense. Math, I was like, fine, math 2 is harder, and it shows you're smarter. No, not you're smarter. It shows you're more competent at mathematics, I guess. So that's the one I chose. Section 3 of this video is costs. Let's talk about money. How much did this thing cost? Personally, I remember it cost something like $100 in total. I think I couldn't find the messages, but like it costs about $100, which is about 10,000, 11,000 Kenya shillings, which is expensive. But as I said in my SAT video, it's an investment. So let's break it down. So the registration fee is $26. Then each subject is $22. So I did 2 subjects, so I paid $44 because, you know, 22 times 2. Then international students, we love international shipping fee, international seating fee, international test center fee. That was an extra, I think like $45 or something like that. That's what it says on the website of College Board. So in total, I paid the 26 for registration fee, 44 for the subject, and 43, which comes up to about like $113, which is roughly like what I remember paying. But then note, if you're taking a language, like for example, you're taking German and you want to take the listening test, it costs extra. So each listening test is $26. So if you do German and French, that's an extra $26 times 2, $52. So beware of that. So yeah, those are the costs of the SAT 2, and like as I said before, it's probably an investment that is worth taking. So the next part of this video is my personal experience with the SAT 2 and like the tips I have. So my personal experience was, I did take the test because I wanted to prove to like these admissions people that I can handle the rigor of the curriculum. Because like as much as I got an A in KCSE in, let's say, physics, I remember hearing this at some seminar where they were like, your A in KCSE matters but not that much, because they don't know how hard or how easy KCSE is. They might know what KCSE is, but they don't know the level of hardness relative to their system, which is why we take standardized tests, so that we can be somewhat equal across the board. So yeah, I was like, why not, you know, do as much as possible to make sure that I get into these schools, because I really did want to get in. So I did mathematics level 2 and physics. I got 800 out of 800 in math 2 and 790 out of 800 in physics. So as I said before, why math 2? I thought it would look better than math 1. There was literally no other reason, because it's harder. I thought it would be a better measure of my skill in mathematics. And I chose physics because honestly it was either physics or chem for me, and I prefer physics to chemistry. I wanted to take all 3, like math, physics and chem, but I only had 4 weeks to read, and I was like, no, I can't do this. So I chose physics over chem because I prefer physics. Then I was applying for engineering, so I was like, I guess physics looks better, unless you're doing like chemical engineering, when at that point I don't know. But yeah, I was like, engineering schools, most of them look at physics, so that's what I chose. My study time was 4 weeks. I studied from the first week of October to the first week of November. Remember, I did my SATs in October, so after that Saturday, I think it was like October 3rd or something, that Saturday I took like a few days break, like 3 days, and I started studying for my subject test. Then what books did I use? This part is going to be so short because honestly I didn't have that many resources for SAT2. Honestly, I was walking in the dark. Like, I was just like, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. Let me be honest. I didn't have any guidance on subject tests because I didn't know people who had taken them, and there was no one to like help me figure it out. I self-studied 100%. Literally, me studying for subject tests was me waking up at 8 a.m, sitting down on my computer to read for like 8 hours. I just read textbooks. What textbooks are those? Number one, Barron's. Barron's was my main book, especially for physics. I just sat down and read the textbook, and let me tell you, 844 people, you'll know nothing. Literally, physics, I only knew 30% of the material. Like, I would sit down and they'd be like, energy, wave, energy, duality, or something like that. I've forgotten. And I'd be like, what? They're like, a wave is a particle, but it's a, what am I trying to say? Energy, is it energy? I'm a light. Light is a wave and a particle. At the photoelectric effect of something. I just remember being so confused because I was like, wait, light is not only a wave, it's a particle. Anyway, so my friends. And then math 2, obviously, because it was harder, I knew about 50% of the material, so I had to teach myself the other 50%, which was literally just me sitting down with Barron's math 2 book and reading and doing practice questions. So I used Barron's a lot, and they have tests at the end, which I did. And I used Princeton Review a bit for physics mainly, because like I feel like it's good to have 2 sources of information in case one misses one part. And then I used the SAT guide, not the one you have to buy. There's this like document where it's a few pages long where they tell you what topics are in each subject. So I used that as a list of topics that I need to read. Then I used papers from Crack SAT, which is a website I've talked about before. I found a few, they have like topical questions and a few papers that I found on Crack SAT. I think College Board really regulates these papers because I couldn't find as many as I could for the SAT. So I tried checking Reddit and I couldn't find any papers on Reddit, which was really sad. And then I found 2 College Board papers in the College Board book. So this book, you do have to buy it. It's like $10, I think, for each subject, and they have 2 papers at the end for each subject. So I used those 2 papers. I waited till like the last week to use those 2 papers because I didn't want to waste them. So I waited until I knew all the material, then I could take the papers. And then the next resource I used, which I think is like number 6 or something, was YouTube videos. Oh my god, YouTube is literally, University of YouTube is where I go. Khan Academy, we thank God for Khan Academy. I didn't use Khan Academy, the website. I used Khan Academy, the YouTube channel, because they have like specific videos for specific topics, which I just watched. And I feel like watching videos is more helpful when studying to remember the concepts. And then this other YouTube channel that I really liked was called Organic Chemistry Tutor. Thank God for these people because literally they're half the reason I passed. And yeah, those are the books I used. And I just want to give you guys a hack at this point. This is when you're registering for the SAT or subject test, there's this place where you have like free score choice. Like how because people ask me, how do I send my SAT scores to the university? You have 2 options. When you're applying for SAT or SAT2, there's a place where you can choose 4 universities where they'll send the score for free. So take advantage of that. Especially if you're doing the SAT, for SAT you'll have 4 free schools, and then subject test you'll have another 4 free schools, which literally covers 3/4, like 8 schools is a lot, and that would save you money. But if you don't use the score choice, you can pay. So you pay College Board and they'll send your scores to the universities. I think it's like $12 per school. So for $12 they'll send your SAT scores to the university. You can pick which scores you want to send. So if you've done the SAT like 3 times, you can pick your highest one to send. Yeah, and that's how I sent my SAT scores. I took advantage of the free score reports. score report sending things, but then I paid for the other like 6. And yeah, that was my personal experience with the SAT. I don't have that many tips for how like to study for this, because as I said before, I didn't know what I was doing. Literally I didn't know what I was doing. So these are the few tips I have. So number 1 is, when you're starting out, take a test to gauge where you are. This is helpful with barons, and by the way, I'll put links in the description box to the PDFs I use. Take an initial test so that you know where you are, so that if you get like 300 out of 800, you know, damn, I have a lot of work to do. Number 2, using that test score, set a target. So for me, I think when I started in physics, I got 530 or something like that out of 800. Then math, I think I got 750. Hey, what? I'm lying. I got 650 out of 800. So using that, I set a target score. My target was 800 out of 800 in both. And honestly, it was like that because of the schools I was applying to. Again, they're very competitive, but be careful. Yeah, in subject tests, be very careful. So what happens is, like, I got 800 in math too, as I've said like 5 times in this video, but it was like the 60th percentile. So many people get 800 in math too, because you like, they have a curve, they grade it on a curve or something like that, on a scale, where if you get a few questions wrong, you still get 800. I think in math, if you got 5 questions wrong, you still got 800. And in physics, I think it was 8 questions, you still got 800. So many people get 800 that if you get a score like 740, it's a bit tricky. Like, if you're applying for engineering, excuse you, if you're applying for engineering and then you get like 700 in physics, they'll be like, but like, you're applying for engineering, which has a lot of like physics, but you failed a physics subject test. Failed, I use loosely, but be very careful about that. I would say aim for like 770 and above. Yeah. Then number 3, set a plan of the content you need to learn. Like, for example, I said I use the SAT guide. So using that, I printed it out and I had a list of topics that I need to study. So every time I would finish studying a topic, I would cancel it out. And I was making notes, obviously, of my own. So I would cancel it out so that I can see the progress I've made and how far I need to go. And then, honestly, I've said this before, my 844 friends, you're really going to struggle with that physics. Please don't assume that you know. You don't know. Trust me, I've talked to people who, I've interviewed people who, okay, well, anyway, I've talked to other like Kenyan students who did subject tests they thought they knew because of like high school content. They didn't know. So please study. Don't assume you know. And it's very important to list all the topics so that you don't miss anything. They usually cover all the topics, so don't miss out on like 5 questions because you didn't study for a specific topic. Then number 4, set a study plan. So my study plan was, I would read from I think 9 a.m. to about 6 p.m. every day. How many hours is that? 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Huh? 9? What? 9 hours every day. Where? Okay, minus lunch. So 8 hours every day. Yeah. So my sisters were in school, so I just used to study as if I was in school. I'm quite like self-disciplined in academics sometimes with deadlines. So that was my study plan. And I did the first 3 hours of the morning, I would do math. Then the last 3 hours of my study time, I would do physics. And I would make sure I do, for math, I would do 1 topic per day because the topics were like short. Then for physics, I used to do about like 1 full topic in about like 4 days because the topics were long. Physics has so much content. But yeah. And then you need to decide for yourself how much you want to study. It's fine if you can only study for 2 hours per day. That's fine. That's up to you. It's your prerogative. But as I've said before, if you study for less hours, you need to increase the days you're studying for. So just beware of that. And yeah. Then number 5 is you need to make sure you have all the materials you need, be it PDFs for studying. And this one is more specific to calculator. So I didn't buy a special calculator, a scientific calculator. I should actually get the one I used. It was like my old Casio for high school. You know, it's like 82FX. Yeah. And I just used that and it was fine. I did have to learn how to program it for the exam. I think there was this like topic in math that was called regression, linear regression, quadratic regression, something like that, where I didn't know anything about it. And honestly, like in math too, you have to change between like degrees and radians, and then you need to do stuff to do with values of central tendency. I forgot what that mode is called, but yeah, you need to learn how to program your calculator. So what I did, let me give you guys a hack right here. I downloaded the calculator manual. Literally, I had this calculator for 6 years and I never knew there's a manual. Download the calculator manual. You literally get it online. Just put in the type of your calculator, manual, PDF, free, download, whatever. And then I read through that so that I learned how to program my calculator into the different modes, and most importantly, how to change back so that one mode of a question doesn't affect another. This is specifically for math 2. Yeah, so you need to learn how to use your calculator. Number 6 is take practice tests under real-time conditions. So on Barron's, and I think, I'm not sure about Khan Academy, but on Barron's, at the end, you can find practice tests. So what I did is I timed myself 1 hour, do a test, and I reduced the time as I go. So today I'll do for 1 hour, tomorrow I'll try 58 minutes, the next day I'll try 55 minutes. Trust me, you don't know the power of 2 minutes until it's been taken away from you. And practicing under exam conditions reduces your panic under the actual exam, and it's good to test yourself under those conditions. And then always remember, go through a test after you've done it. It's important to find out what you did wrong, what mistakes you made, so that you can read those topics again, perfect them, polish them, so that you don't make the same mistakes again. And I would advise writing down the mistakes you made. I had, like, at the back of my book, I would write down all the questions I would get wrong every time, so that I have a list. Like, I would see a pattern and be like, oh, okay, so the topic I always get wrong is atomic theory and radioactivity. I don't know why I struggled with that topic in physics, but yeah, so that I could put more time and energy into it. This ties in with keep track of your progress. I kept a list of my marks that I got for the papers I did. I didn't do that many papers. I think I did only 6. Like, I think 4 from Barron's and then the 2 from College Board. And then I think I found 1 full one on Crack ACT. So I did less than 10 papers for each subject, which was not a lot of practice, but I didn't have any other option. So if you don't find that many papers, it's fine. But if you do and you want to share them with people, feel free to leave them in a comment down below or DM me, and then I can just add it to the description box. Then yeah, keep track of your progress. I remember, my progress was really bad, especially for physics. I really struggled. I was very surprised with that 790. I know I targeted 800, but I was sure I would get like 750. Physics was so hard, honestly. I can't even lie to you guys. My average score for physics, I think, was like 735. Yeah, for math was fine. Math was like, I had like 790, because math 2 is easy as long as you know what to do, because it's just like formulas. Physics was hard. It was a lot of theory and content and like new formulas I didn't know. But yeah, my average for physics was 735, which was really discouraging, but I guess I got 790 at the end, so like, take that as you may. Next is, I've said this, I think, study smart, not study smart, not hard. And how you can do this is, after each test, focus on these topics that you got wrong. If you know everything about heat transfer, if you're getting everything in heat transfer right, why waste your time studying it? Go and study magnetism and magnetic effect of electric current or whatever, because you know you get those questions wrong. So that's a way you can study smart instead of studying hard, because in the real world, people who work hard really just, like, working hard is low-key a societal myth that we've been lied to all our lives, but that's a topic for another day. Next, I don't even know what number this is learn the scale. I said before that there's a scale which they score you. So like, if you get 8 wrong, you still get 800. So learn how they score it. Like, look at previous curves. Please don't think the curve has you. The curve doesn't protect you. The curve is good, but like, personally, I don't have a problem with curved exams. But you don't think I won't study because, see, I can get 8 wrong. Trust me, if there are 100 questions, 8 wrong is very few. That's only 0.08% of the questions that you can get wrong. Wait, what? Is that correct? Yeah. So don't think you can not study because the curve has your back. It really does, but it doesn't. Okay, don't be cocky, my friends. Don't be cocky. And yeah, those are the few tips I have for you guys. I'm sorry I don't have more. First of all, my research was really inconclusive. Like, a lot of the websites would give shady things like study smart, not hard. You need to do what. And like, websites don't give helpful information sometimes. I really couldn't find a website that gave me actually helpful information. But yeah, I didn't know what I was doing in the SAT 2 because I didn't have a source of reference for someone who had done it or stuff like that, and I couldn't find students who resonated with my experience on the internet, which is, you know, why I made this channel and everything. So I hope this video was helpful for any of you guys taking SAT 2. You guys sent me some of your SAT scores, and oh my god, you guys crushed it. People were getting like 1550, 1580. I was like, y'all are geniuses. Why are you even listening to me? Like, I bow in your presence. But congratulations on your SAT scores. If you've not taken your SAT, good luck. I'm so excited for you guys. I can't wait for all of us to crush it and for all of us to get this higher education, secure the bag, and come back to Africa and improve our countries, because we are the future generation, and like, there's a lot of work for us to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, share, like, all those good things. Juicy red button down there. On the road to 1,000 subscribers. I love you all. Okay, thanks. Bye.